Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the annual meeting of the members for the chamber. I'm going to first call on Vice Chair Kim Kohler-Jones to present the review of the nominating committee slate of appointments.
Okay, so we had on the ballot Robert Lyles with a reappointment, Kristen Swab and Tom McKinley. Were there any additional nominations? Okay, so I'm going to close the floor for additional nominations and call on Alex McCoy for the report of proxy vote.
Thank you so much, Madam Vice Chair. The Chamber did receive before this meeting 78 proxy votes. We do have them on hand for inspection. 78 was the number that was required. I believe we may have one or two Chamber members here present who have not cast their ballot and should be given the opportunity to do so.
Okay, so for those present who have not casted their ballot, would you like to do so at this time? Okay, seeing none. And that there is sufficient number of votes cast, we can declare the winner for the three candidates, Kristen Swab, Tom McKinley, and Robert Lyles, beginning their appointment January 1st. Alex, would you like to provide a year-to-date program overview?
Thank you so much, Madam Vice Chair, and welcome to all of our members here in the room and virtually. It's a great day here in Lawrence County, and we have so much to share that we are so proud of. For anyone who may not know who I am, I'm Alex McCoy, the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce and the Economic Development Corporation. I did want to share this slide deck that we are using today is a deliverable from DCI, part of the Forward Lawrence project that we had put on, but I'll talk about that a little bit more later. So I'm very pleased today to be able to talk about many of our accomplishments. We're very proud of what we've done. Despite the ongoing COVID pandemic, we are continuing to try to make a difference in the community and transform lives of the people who are fortunate enough to call Lawrence County home. Again, a little bit about the Chamber of Commerce. You know, a lot of people don't really know what a Chamber of Commerce is and does, and I've been working in this world for about 18 years, and we have people who think that we're a county agency or that we're somehow a subsidiary of the United States Chamber of Commerce, but it's not true. We are a private organization under the 501c6 IRS code, and we're governed by a local board of directors of local residents. Our membership is generally community businesses and nonprofits. And we're working with that board of directors to ensure that our community receives value in many different areas. The Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors adopted a program of work to run from 2018 to 2021. So we're coming to an end of that first program of work. But the three overarching goals within the program of work was to advance our economy, to develop a single actionable countywide vision for Lawrence County, and to help develop leaders and increase countywide cooperation. So as I go through the PowerPoint deck that I do have today, I hope you can relate back to these three things. I won't go in as depth on the advancing our economy. We did have a recording of a presentation by our Director of Economic Development, Ms. Linda Nitch, for the LCEDC, which will be made available on our YouTube channel later, as will this presentation as well. Going back to the beginning for the new Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development Corporation, we had many courageous leaders in our community who stood up and said, you know, we're not exactly satisfied with the status quo, and we want to be able to work together and better with the resources we have in order to make a bigger impact in our community. And so those courageous leaders came together and they figured out a plan to help create a more stronger alliance between the organized economic development activities in the county, while also adding to the community development capacity as well. So beginning in January of 2017, the two organizations really came together in a new alliance that I think has really produced a lot of dividends for the community that we hope to share some today. The Chamber of Commerce, you know, honestly, when you stop and you think about us again as a private group, you know, nobody elected us to do anything in this community. But what we do every day when we come to work is we try to convince others that it's in their interest to work with us in order to meet the mutual goals of our community. And we have a lot of partners that we end up relying on very, very heavily in order to implement our program of work and enact the vision of the board of directors. And I really and truly wanted to say thank you to each and every one of them up here. And we didn't have enough space to list them all. So I'm sorry if you didn't make it on here. But we are truly a testament to the power of partnerships, because together our community over time can accomplish anything that it truly wants to. And partnerships are only formed through trust. Trust is the foundation of all successful relationships. And so again, today is not just a celebration at our annual meeting of the members of what we've accomplished. This is what we've accomplished together through our members, through our board, through our local elected officials, and through many of these fine institutions listed today. Again, thank you one and all. The Chamber of Commerce has a wonderful team in place today. We want to thank each and every member of my staff for everything that you do to implement our program of work on behalf of the board of directors. You know, I couldn't do this alone, and I do appreciate each and one of your efforts. You give your best each and every day, and people would genuinely be amazed at what all we do. I know one of our staff members, Miss Rudy Lynn, she came to us after a long career at a Fortune 500 company, and she said, you know, I never really knew what the Chamber of Commerce did before I got told a time or two to come to your annual dinner. My employer had bought a table, and that's what I really thought you did. Once a year, you gave me chicken to eat and an eggplant rollatini, and it was worth coming for Peter Madure's eggplant rollatini, but you know, she said, I thought that was it, but it's been an amazing eye-opening opportunity, she said. But again, thank you to all of our staff members. I appreciate you. Now, I do have one staff member that's missing up here, our newest. She was hired this year, Lindsay Overby. I did, you know, some of y'all have already heard this joke from me before. You know, I talk about my wife and how she graduated her undergraduate degree at Georgia Southwestern State, and also at Westminster, where she got her master's degree. She had a 4.0 there. So I always tell people, you know, she graduated summa cum laude. I graduated from college, praise the Lord. But here we have Lindsay, who graduated valedictorian there at Full Sail University for her class. I don't know what the Greek name is for the valedictorian. I've never had need to know until now, but I'm definitely going to look that up. So I can tell the joke somehow about Lindsay graduating summa cum laude while I graduated, praise the Lord. But with that, you know, one of our goals for 2022, looking forward into next year, we really want to get out more and meet with our investors. We want to make sure that our chamber database is up to date, and want to make sure that our chamber members are fully aware of everything it is that we have to offer of value to them and to you, because it's important for our community. We have a lot of members who join the chamber for our benefits. We have a lot of members who join the chamber because of what we do every day, and they want to do their part to help support that. But one of our goals in hiring Lindsay and her, before coming to us, she had a little marketing firm where she was doing social media marketing, et cetera, for a lot of area businesses, typically over in northern Butler County. But we really wanted to offer some of that potentially to our chamber members as well. So if you don't know what TikTok is, Lindsay will be happy to come and explain one to you and even make one for you. So with that, getting into our social media presence, you know, one of our goals when we were doing our lunch and learns, you know, historically, they've not always been offered in a time and place convenient for all of our members to come to. We're trying to learn through the COVID pandemic about offering more things in a hybrid format so we can record them like we are the session we're doing today, so that people can watch them off of our YouTube channel when it's convenient for them. helping meet our members and just generally the community at large with where they're at, wherever that may be, when it's convenient to them is important for us, is something we've certainly learned as we've moved into the future. And we do have many different social media accounts. We do encourage you on whatever platform you're on. If you're on the same platform, please like us. We like being liked. And follow us, help share out our information to your networks as well, so we can better inform the community about opportunities that are available to them. One of my favorite topics to talk about, of course, is Forward Lawrence. So really wanted to start out here. One of our critical goals, as you may recall, was to create a single actionable vision for our community. It's really no secret to really talk about our region really and truly has been shrinking. Our county, virtually all the counties around us except for Butler County because of Cranberry, but the rest of Butler County, we're all having to do more with less each and every year. And resource bases because of that are becoming more and more limited. With that, in fact, in mind, I want to go ahead and just share, I do not envy in any way, shape, form, or fashion our many dedicated public officials who have to wrestle with that a little bit more than we do, because we're certainly here to try to be their friend wherever we can. But what we're interested in Forward Lawrence is how can we impact that trend? We have to work harder to keep our human capital here. I mean, let's stop and think for just half a minute about government expenditures. I mean, a lot of people, I'm an economist by formal training, so I get really excited about this, and I don't want to belabor the point too much. But when you stop and think about our biggest export here in Lawrence County, it shouldn't be our talented young people. When you think about our government expenditures, probably half your taxes are going to the Board of Education. And if we spend an average of $3,000 per child per year, when you count grades, pre-K, K, and then up to 12, that's 14 years. That's a $42,000 government asset that the best and the brightest are going to go on to college, usually, typically. And once they graduate, there may not be a place for them here in our community. Every year, almost $50,000 walks out the door. We need to work harder to build a community that those kids want to come back to and that they can come back to. We got to continue to expand our tax base, and I'm proud of the work of the Lawrence County Economic Development Corporation to do that so that there are resources available to help pay for so many essential government services. And that's what Forward Lawrence ultimately is all about at the end of the day. I want to thank the steering committee and all the leaders who've helped work with us to help guide the process and help ensure that the recommendations and that the reports coming out are reflective of our community norms and expectations as well. A little bit more about Forward Lawrence. We ended up hiring two different groups to work with us. They partnered together. One was Mr. Jay Garner of Garner Economics, the other one being Development Counselors International, DCI. If you don't know anything about site selectors, and a lot of people don't, these are professionals who help Fortune 3000 level companies evaluate communities as a place to go do business. When big companies or medium-sized companies start looking for expansion opportunities or relocation opportunities, they know a lot about their individual business, but they don't necessarily know as much about the human capital needs and logistics requirements. And they certainly don't understand the different tax structures of different states and incentive programs. And these site selectors, they end up specializing in understanding these different aspects and have relationships with a lot of different groups in order to help them guide them to a better decision. In fact, the Wall Street Journal did an article once, this was May 18th of 2019. The article name was Meet the Fixers. And in that article, Jay Garner was quoted quite a few times. So he is a world-class, world-renowned site location consultant. In fact, they have an association known as the Site Selectors Guild, and Jay is the immediate past president. He was the president of it when we began this. And DCI, they've worked with many different fabulous groups, from Visit California to Visit Florida, states, and helping them with their marketing efforts. So we were ecstatic to be able to work with them as well. We have sent out the draft recommendations. If you haven't seen them yet, you can. They are on our website at forwardlawrence.com. We do have a number of printed out copies here today on hand for our guest here in the audience. We would love for you to read it. We've got a few sessions scheduled where you can provide input in a formal fashion, but if you can't make them, we'd be happy to just take an email from you. But again, we're very interested in this so that we can move forward together in an organized fashion. We also, as part of the Forward Lawrence project, Jay Garner, in conjunction with Ross Patton, ended up writing a book about economic development. It became wildly popular with a lot of different economic development groups. We've purchased over 400 copies. We have author signed copies right now, based on the supply chain issues we have in our country right now, with so much stuff coming in from overseas and a lot of stuff stuck on container ports. I just want to share, we have these in hand and they fit in a stocking. So if you need a stocking stuffer, especially for small children, it is never too early to get them interested in community and economic development, and to be able to have a book signed by the authors. Wouldn't that just be amazing for them to find on Christmas morning from Santa? Because Santa, ladies and gentlemen, is real. We also, as part of this, recently did have Mr. Ross Patton come and do a book lecture. He did do it virtually. We were able to record it. And that recording is currently up on our YouTube channel. So if you couldn't make that session live, but you're interested in the book and you want to hear from the author as well to learn a little bit more about economic development, that opportunity is certainly available to you. For those of y'all who are in the room, you can see that most of the chamber members, chamber staff is here today wearing our fleece jackets as well as our logoed Columbia shirts. We're doing this as a fundraiser. I do want to comment though on my staff. You guys are wonderful, but they did change the title up here, Forward Lawrence Police Fundraiser, $75. I originally wanted this to say Feliz Navidad because, what a great Christmas gift this would be. We did do a few pre-orders, and John Kernan, your pre-order is actually here. Yep, there it is. Lisa, you did the other pre-order. It's not here yet. But if you guys are interested in staying warm, looking stylish, and helping show your support for a great cause, please see any member of the chamber staff. Would be happy to take your size and get you one of these very warm fleece jackets ordered. Leadership Lawrence County, and in our room today, we do have Mr. John Martin from Eagle TD, Training and Development. John used to run the PPG National Training Center down in Pittsburgh, but I'm pointing John out because Mr. Martin was very gracious. We were able to contract with him to help us conduct Leadership Class 3, knowing that it was going to end up being done a lot more in a hybrid format because of COVID and COVID restrictions. We wanted to have some extra professionals on hand to help us come up with that training format for this year. And Mr. Martin, again, thank you for all of your efforts, and thank you for being a chamber member. But one of our critical goals going back to that, of course, was to develop leaders and countywide cooperation. I'm sorry, I usually saying cooperation. We wanted to create a leadership program that was really focused on adult learners, that had some real meat and substance to it, so it wouldn't be just what we would call edutainment, where we're trying to mostly entertain people. We wanted some real substance to it. To that end, we created a partnership with Westminster College to gain a license to the University of Georgia J.W. Fanning Institute modules for adult learners. There were 6 of them. It taught a lot about group problem solving skills and communication skills, et cetera. The leadership program, we have a number of leadership alumni here in the room. I see Kim from class 2. I see Jacqueline back there from class 3. I know Craig Bicehouse from class 2 was going to be here today. Linda, you were also voluntold. We have a lot of made-up words at the Chamber of Commerce, but voluntold there to be in class 2. I see some future candidates sitting over here as well. But with that, the leadership program really and truly is a great employee retention tool. If you get an employee to move here from out of the area and they don't know anything about our community and they don't know people, that maybe they're not going to have the experience that they're going to want. And obviously there's a lot of training costs that goes into having a new employee. And if you want them to stick around, this really is a great opportunity for them to learn about our community, to make a network of friends. Even people who've lived here all their lives, gone through this program and said, wow, I learned a lot I didn't know about Lawrence County. And almost everybody walks away from this program with a brand new best friend. So I greatly encourage you to contact us if you're interested. For the foreseeable future, we do want to offer some makeup field trips to both classes 2 and 3, probably right after the first of the year. Due to the severity of the COVID pandemic, a lot of the trips and educational opportunities that we normally would try to offer folks weren't available to us. But we would make that available to all of the leadership alumni. And we're looking to try to begin class 4 probably around the 4th quarter or so of 22. So more details to come, but again, this is a program I'm exceptionally proud of. The board leadership series, as we're talking about leadership Lawrence County, there is an Alumni Association that we're trying to help cajole, and they do have funds left over from past fundraisers. They financially helped us. They came in 50-50 to support us doing a board development series. We did 4 different virtual sessions, again, with the University of Georgia J.W. Fanning Institute on what it takes to be a board member, things about fiduciary duties, ethics, sustainability of boards, et cetera. All of those sessions were recorded, and by the end of the year, those sessions will be made available on our YouTube channel for review. We did this in part, for not only our own board members as we go through an onboarding process with them to give them the videos to be able to watch, especially if they've never been on a board before, but really and truly any nonprofit in our community and even some of our government boards, like a zoning board or an appeals board of some sort, if they've never been on a board before, could watch this and get a lot of useful insight. So we wanted to create a tool, again, to create value for years to come here in our community. And a lot of the topics that were covered are fairly timeless. All of our chamber members should be receiving our Chamber Chat newsletter. We've greatly reformatted that since bringing it back. I'm really proud of it. It is the baby of Melanie DeVincentis in our office, and she works very closely with a lot of members of staff in order to get the content in there. In there, we're trying to provide a lot of information about our community champions so people can learn about the people who live here and what they're trying to accomplish, and being able to reach out to them with support. We're offering a lot of videos within that at this point, and those videos are also being placed and housed on our YouTube channel. But we're really trying to make sure people know about what's going on in our community and know about opportunities to do business better, et cetera. So we greatly encourage any member of the community, even if you're not a member and you want to receive it, let us know. We're happy to add your name and your email address into the distribution list. Always one of the happiest days in a chamber director's life is when you get to go bring out either the big ribbon or the big scissors or the shovels. We have around 22 shovels, I think, now that, we spray painted the heads gold. Every time we bring them out, there's always one that goes missing. I don't I don't know why it is. They're like $7 shovels down from Lowe's, but one of them always disappears whenever we break them out. But anyway, that being said, we've got the equipment to come out. We've hosted ribbon cuttings ourselves for some of our members. One of our more recent ones was the River Valley Community Resource Center. Linda said I got to tell everybody what it used to be. This used to be the Pulaski Elementary School. Mr. Joe Googe ended up buying the property and really trying to turn it into a real resource and community center up there in northwestern Lawrence County. Great project, and we enjoyed coming out and doing that. Another grand opening that we assisted with, we didn't plan it. This was the County Department of Planning, but they did make use of our equipment in order to do it, was the Quaker Falls State Park. So anytime, we don't have any county commissioners or elected officials here, but anytime our partners in government want to borrow our big scissors, especially if it's to cut taxes or cut red tape, we're more than happy to loan them to you for that. But if you have a ribbon cutting, we'll cut the ribbon with you too. But again, those scissors, they're big, they do cut, and they can cut through a lot. Something else we did that not a lot of people know about is PA Business Week, and our very own Mr. Paul Bicciarelli went, and he was one of the team of mentors that took on a few teams there at Newcastle High School and helped coach them as part of this program known as the Americans for the Competitive Enterprise System, or ACES. It's trying to help teach entrepreneurship to high school students. And right now, Newcastle is the only school I'm advised in the district using this program. I believe I was told Elwood City had used it in the past, but as it stands, students have to form teams where they create mock businesses that they end up making decisions as a group that get fed into a computer system, and the simulation ends up coming out with results. So it tries to teach people a lot about owning a business, encourage them to learn a little bit more about it. And Linda's granddaughter, Katie, who's a student there at Newcastle High School, she's a candy cane. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but I know she's incredibly proud of it. And Linda comes to the office on Fridays dressed up wearing candy cane stuff too. So I know Linda's just as proud of Katie as Katie is of herself. But regardless, she talked about how much fun this was, and it was something all of the kids really and truly began looking forward to. So anytime you can teach kids in a fun format and they take something from it, it's always great. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Newcastle's done that program for years, to their credit. Neshannock's done it a few times, and I think Elwood has done it a few times. I know we've helped with different portions of that program. I think that's something we ought to, I guess, two things. Number one, I think we ought to encourage all the schools to do that, because I think the kids' eyes really light up as far as what they teach in that program. It's week long. A lot of folks have a chance to volunteer and help out. And maybe that's also something we can use to try to get our schools, other than Len Rich, who's our shining star among the superintendent group in the county. He's the only one that really engages with the business community, and quite frankly, we're the customers of the school products. The school makes people that can work in the marketplace, and so we represent the customers of the community, and the hope is that maybe with Len's help, we can get other people other school board or superintendents to get involved in our programs. Not just that, but also to maybe consider having Pennsylvania Business Week at the various schools in the county, because I think it's a really worthwhile thing.
John, if I can jump on that, this is Len Rich. I'd be happy to have a coffee with you or lunch and to talk about some outreaches that may be appropriate in building other relationships with the educational leaders in Lawrence County. I think that's a great idea. And also, quite frankly, at Sharon, we had Business Week up there for a few years. So I'd be happy to talk to you about that or anything else. But I am a believer that schools do need to be more involved with business and private enterprise. Particularly, we are producing the next generation. So what are the needs locally? All we hear about is algebra scores, biology scores, and literature scores. That's important to us, just like your products are important to you, but we need to be more than that. But not to delay this too much further. But John, I'd be happy to be a liaison, if you will, and you and I could come up with some type of plan.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rich. For anybody who wasn't able to make the LCEDC presentation this morning, wanted to cover just a few of their projects, but one of them, though, real quick, that didn't make the list was the Chirp Program. The county got almost $1 million from the state that they wanted to partner with us in order to help distribute that to a lot of hospitality industries, and that's what Chirp stood for. It was the COVID Hospitality Industry Recovery Program, who had been impacted by the COVID pandemic. It was a real honor and pleasure to get to partner with our county commissioners on that project. The commissioners were gravely concerned about the businesses and the impact that COVID had on them and their ability to recover. So we've been over backwards. Diane Lynn Richardson did the overwhelming yeoman's share, even helping some businesses put together their applications. And we didn't set the requirements for those applications. It was specified in state statute what was required. So we had to collect that for audit purposes. But that said, again, I wanted to thank our partners at the county and also publicly praise Diane for again, her extraordinary work in a very short amount of time to get that nearly $1 million out into the community. But some of the projects that we do have listed up here really quick, when businesses come to an area, if they're brand new, they need a place to move to right away that's ready to go. Businesses don't have time to typically wait on communities. Communities have to be ready when the business shows up. So anytime we can create product, and that's buildings and sites that businesses can move onto that are shovel ready, it's incredibly important. And Stonecrest Business Park down in the southern end of our county, it's right off 18 on the Beaver line. It's where Stonecrest Golf Course is now. We're incredibly excited to be a part of that. They're looking to create a 200-acre industrial park that can support 1.5 million square feet of building space. They have committed to building a spec building in line with our current ask. When I first got here in 2017, I turned to Diane, she's our main researcher here, and I made her come up with what our average ask was. We looked at the last 27 RFPs that had come in over the previous 18 months. And we looked at what businesses were asking us for, and they were asking us for around 170 to 180,000 square foot building with about a 32-foot high ceiling. And that building that we're asked for doesn't exist in the county. So with Mr. John LaCarte of LaCarte Development, who's done other projects throughout southwestern Pennsylvania, coming in and building our first true private industrial park in the community, building a spec building to accommodate that kind of prospect, that is certainly a substantial investment. We were able to help secure them a $5 million business in our sites loan to go towards the $7 million anticipated cost for infrastructure and site acquisition that doesn't go towards the building that was mentioned. Also, the Electricians Training Center. And we've already talked about workforce today. That was really comments made by Mr. Kernan and by Mr. Rich. But when it comes to workforce development, it's incredibly important. And we were able to help secure two separate $1 million RACPs to build that workforce training facility. And that project overall is expected to be $4.3 million. With Keystone Compliance, that's a business in downtown Newcastle that does a lot of testing of electronic equipment. We're helping them with a $1.5 million RACP for a $3.5 million expansion of their current building and buying an additional building to also move into. Lastly, up there, Enterprise Park. We're partnering with the city of Newcastle and Dawn Services, as well as a few others, to apply for almost $2.4 million to the Department of Community and Economic Development. Sorry, I'm getting my states mixed up here. For transportation enhancements to go in between the courthouse and Croton Avenue that have been needed for years. So that's a bit of what we've done. And then I wanted to take a moment to talk a little bit about the future. Today, at today's Chamber Board meeting, staff will be asking the board in looking to the future to create a new networking opportunity of sorts for our members and the community at large. Indus travels, a lot of other chambers of commerce have gotten into international travel. I'm not going to lie, it is a little bit of a fundraising effort for us, but again, everything we do does take money. We don't run on love completely. We certainly love what we do, but we do need the dollars as well. But international travel has gotten to be pretty popular with other chambers of commerce. We certainly wanted to try that ourselves. In order to do this, we are, wanting folks to sign up for a potential trip if they're interested. Right now, the two trips that we're targeting, one would be in October of 22. We were looking to go to Scotland. We wanted an English-speaking country, for folks to try out international travel first to people we felt might be a little more comfortable going to a place where they spoke the language. And in February of 23, we were targeting an opportunity to go to Greece. Because again, looking at the cultural heritages we have here in Lawrence County and creating an opportunity for people to go to countries where a lot of our local population is from and learn firsthand about their cultures, we thought would be a great opportunity. So we are looking to do that. Now, the way this would work is you would travel as a group from people here in Lawrence County. So this isn't like going to a different kind of agency. One does not come to mind who might put you in a group from people all over the United States. And you would go on this wonderful trip. You'd make good friends, and that good friends, they might live in Texas or California, and you're never going to see them again, quite possibly. But if you go on a trip with your neighbors, you're going to see them again at Giant Eagle. You can have them over for coffee or go meet them at the Confluence for coffee. So it'd be a great way of creating, again, a new best friend like we're trying to do with our leadership program while gaining worldly experience and better understanding the cultures and the histories of those cultures that greatly impact Lawrence County. Also, again, looking to the future, we have a number of upcoming events. Obviously, we have several listening sessions regarding our Forward Lawrence draft recommendations from Mr. Jay Garner. Mr. Garner will be on hand on December 1st, presenting his report here in the community. If you're interested in participating in any of those events, do let us know. Melanie or Lindsay Overby would be the ones to really reach out to. December the 9th, I'm sorry, ignore this slide. It's actually December the 9th. That is a Thursday, I'm told. We're proud to go back and do Christmas with the Chamber at Hoyt. Our last real business after-hours mixer for all of our members was, I think, Christmas at the Chamber at the Hoyt in 2019, but we are trying to get back together with folks. And I really want to thank Ms. Kim Kohler-Jones, who's in the room, for offering up this venue. It was a great venue last time. A lot of people had a great time, and we're looking forward to doing it again. And I believe you told me that there's going to be an art exhibit related to Coney Island at the same time that would be open, where people could go in and touch things like the rail cars, roller coaster cars that used to be there. Kim's looking away, so maybe I'm butchering this, but turn on your microphone if it's not.
An exhibition of Coney Island, but also regional amusement parks. So Cascade, Idora, Kennywood, Conneaut. And there will be actual ride pieces there, fun mirrors, arcade games you can play. So it's not just a history exhibit, but an interactive one that you can remember what it was like to be a kid.
And nobody should ever forget that. Being the father of a 4-year-old right now, I would tell you he's having the time of his life. I want to end with, again, thanking all of our chamber members. Each and every one of you is important. If you read your Bible, I believe Christ told a story one time about a widow who dropped a few shekels in a box, and richer folks had come by and put in a lot more, but Christ said, the lady who gave a little gave more because she gave all she had. Again, we appreciate all of our chamber members, but I did want to thank in particular some of our larger investors who, through your contributions, we are able to accomplish a little bit more with our program of work, because again, it does take money to run this organization and to make the gains that we do. So again, we love and appreciate all of our chamber members, whether you're the grow in Lawrence County or you're helping to grow Lawrence County. Again, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak today. If the Chamber of Commerce can ever be of assistance to you in any way, shape, form, or fashion, even if you don't know if we can help, we might know a way, because we try to build and maintain relationships with a great multitude of networks. So please never hesitate to reach out to any member of staff. We're happy to help you anywhere that we can. Thank you so much. Madam Vice Chair, that concludes my presentation.